And the Weslaco East Wildcats travel to San Antonio to the Alamo Dome for the third round game against Cibolo Steele. And it is the Knights winning this one by a final score of 36-21. Hello, everybody. Carlos Roberto here, along with John Boswell, the coach for the Miriam Guerra Allstate Insurance postgame show. And the Wildcats, they've gone to the third round of the playoffs 5 times, unfortunately, and it's always a tough game once you get to the third round for Weslaco East. They lose it 36-21. They score 1 touchdown in the first half, but 2 in the second half.
Physically, the Wildcats came to play tonight. Steele, superior speed, made some big plays. The Wildcats turned the ball over early. But physically in the second half, I don't know if I've ever been more proud of the group. Come out and pound the ball for 10 minutes to start the second half and score a touchdown.
Yes, you know, Cibolo Steele, they're physical, they're big, and they're fast. But Weslaco East was right there with them step for step, but they were behind the 8 ball because they fell behind. They score first, Cibolo Steele, then an interception to score quickly there with 8 minutes remaining first in the first half. So, in the first quarter. So they scored quickly. So they're behind the 8 ball quickly.
Right. But you know what? They fought back the same way the Wildcats played all season. Starting with the second half of Los Fresnos, that's the football team we saw.
Right.
Every game, they got behind against PSJA, fought back. Got behind against Alexander, fought back. They got behind in this game, fought back. The coaches can ride home on the bus, hand in the equipment with pride. We went up there and played.
Yeah, and we still have other games that are taking place right now, and I'll go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard right now. Westlake beating Robert Vela right now in the fourth quarter, 70-14. San Benito and San Antonio O'Connor, that game is still going on, 45-28 in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes and 3 seconds left in that game. So San Benito still has a shot in that game. And of course, the final here, Weslaco East 36-21. Losing to the Steel Knights in Los Fresnos and Lake Travis. They will play tomorrow in Los Fresnos. But let's look back at this game a little bit more. We have some highlights, and let's take a look at the Weslaco East and Cibolo Steele and what happened in that game. Weslaco East in the third round of the playoffs for the 5th time in 8 years, taking on Cibolo Steele for the 3rd time in the game taking place at the Alamo Dome. First quarter action, and it's Steele with the football. Watch J.T. Woods right here on the jet sweep. He's got some speed, and he's in Wildcat territory. Same drive as they're passing here. Alex Allenby with a catch to the 20-yard line, then running up the middle. Brendan Brady inside the 10-yard line. Brady again to the outside. 2-point conversion is good. 8-0 Knights. East first possession. Great defense right here. Chase Cromartie, interception. Goes through the Wildcat offense and in for the score. 15-0 Knights. Still in the first quarter. DeQuarion Thomas. Outside run, good. 30-yard run. 22-0 Cibolo Steele. East keeps playing though. Still in the first quarter. This is J.C. Vargas. Biggest run of the first half. This one goes 48 yards deep into Cibolo Steele territory. Same drive, second quarter, and Vargas, with the speed of the outside, stays inbound. Touchdown, Wildcats. 22-6 of the score. Knights still with the lead. Steele, though, too much offense in the first half. Thomas with the ball here. That made it 36-6. Knights in the first half. Wildcats with a couple of touchdowns in the second half, but it wasn't enough. Final in this one, Cibolo Steele 36, Weslaco East 21. Yeah, so Weslaco East was down 36-6 at the half. They came out in that second half with Richard Lefevre, that first drive, and they almost took up the entire third quarter to punch it into the end zone.
Yeah, amazingly dominating drive by the Wildcat offense. Kept the defense off the field, kept their offense off the field. They ran one series and had to punt in the third period, and when they entered the field in the fourth period, they had their backups in. So that was it.
And coming into this game, people were wondering, well, what about Richard Lefevre? You know, what is he going to do against, bigger, faster opponents? These big boys from San Antonio. I'm pretty sure over 100 yards here tonight.
How many times did he go airborne? How many times did DBs run away from Richard Lefevre? JC and Richard did what they were advertised to do. JC showed his athleticism. Richard showed his power. both of them showed their guts, and it was a great job by the offensive line.
Yeah, JC had that touchdown, and Richard had the 2 touchdowns in the second half. But how much is Coach Bourget and the rest of the coaching staff going to miss those seniors? Because you're talking about a whole bunch of them that came up through this program. You know, JC, Roy, Jaime Banuelos, a lot of these guys, you know, Richard Lefevre as well, they've been with the system for a very long time.
Well, you know, J.C. Vargas played in his 11th playoff game. There are not many players ever from the Rio Grande Valley play 11 playoff games in your career. A lot of the other guys played in 8. You're going to miss that experience. But a lot of guys got experience this year, Carlos. They played 13 ball games. Those offensive linemen are all back.
Yeah.
Many of the defensive players are coming back. So you hate ever losing seniors. A group like this is special. But you also got to look at the experience you got coming back.
Yeah, and they're going to lose. Richard Lefevre is going to be gone, but we know there's like a JV quarterback back there that we'll be hearing about, hopefully.
We saw Russell at
coming up.
running back. We saw Josh at running back. There's people.
Ramsey Vasquez, who's a sophomore, he's going to be back as well. So, and that whole offensive line, is it everybody? I'm not sure if it's everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
And now we could start talking about, since you know, not all the teams are out of the playoffs yet. You know, San Benito still has a chance there, but we'll be talking about all district performance. We'll talk about MVP performances, because all those all district honors will be coming out. We can't officially talk about it yet, but this coming up later this week, unless San Benito moves on, there's some really nice accolades for the Weslaco East Wildcats. Well deserved.
Well deserved. You know, people built him up to be good, and they came through. That's the hard thing sometimes. You're picked to be good, and you really are, especially with the adversity they had this year. Roy, JC, Freddie, you didn't know some weeks how they're going to make an offense. Coach Bourget and the staff found a way. Richard Lefevre grew up big this year. His dad, his coaches, everybody that's East fans should be awfully proud of Richard Lefevre.
And getting back to this game here, because talk about the hard hitting, and I believe maybe 4 or 5 sacks in this game. That Weslaco East defense, they were putting pressure on the quarterback for Cibolo Steele.
They don't get enough credit. Now, you play it with an offense that runs the ball 10 straight minutes. Like I said, that keeps the other team on the sideline. But when they get on the field, they play. Coach Guzman and his staff do a great job.
Yeah, and you got to be very proud if you're a Weslaco East fan and you've been following this team all season long. Remember, lost 2 games, man. They lost to San Benito, then they lost to those Fresnos. They weren't knocked out of the top 10, but they went all the way from number 1 all the way down to number 10. Able to regroup. Got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff for doing that. Found Richard. Hey, Richard can run with the football. Got to be very proud, despite the loss here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Very proud of this 2017 team.
Guys, 36 to 21 to a team that played in the state championship game a year ago. The team that beat you 56-0 a year ago, you got to be proud of a lot that happened tonight. Maybe soon somebody from the Valley moves to the 4th round.
And it has happened before in the history of high school football, but it's been a while. It's been a while since it has happened, and we don't know what's going to happen tonight. But we have closed the gap as far as, you know, the smaller school district playing against some of the San Antonio schools. If you look at soccer, if you take a look at cross country, you take a look at track, softball. You know, we had the girls go to the Final Four from Weslaco High School a couple of years ago. In baseball, we've had a team that, in basketball, last year from the Rio Grande Valley, or 2 years ago, we had a team that went to the Final Four as well. So do you feel like maybe after watching this and seeing some of those scores that the gap has closed a little bit?
I think the gap is closing. I think they're training smarter. They're training better. I think the kids, they're eating better. You know, the school lunches are better. They're doing things smarter. I think the gap is closing.
All right. Well, that'll do it. Final score in this one, once again, Weslaco East falling to Cibolo Steele, 36-21, but a great game and a great effort. I'd like to thank, of course, Coach John Boswell for helping out on the broadcast tonight, Scott Harrison as well, and everyone here at K-West. It was a tremendous season, a lot of fun. We got to actually work football into December. Basketball is next, and, of course, the other spring sports coming up. All right, for John Boswell, I'm Carlos Romero. Thank you for joining us here on the Miriam Guerra Allstate Insurance postgame show.